Another decade, another ice climbing world tour. We're here to see some of the world's best climbers battle it out. Now we're heading to Changchun, South Korea and Saas-Fee, Switzerland. But first, it all kicks off here in China, where we're bringing all the action from today's lead finals. So welcome to the UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup. Welcome to Changchun. Welcome to Changchun. We're in China for the lead finals of the first UIAA ice climbing tour stop of the 2020 World Cup. The lead finals are about to begin, in which the world's best climbers are challenged to the max on a route of exceptional difficulty. It's minus 11 degrees Celsius here, but we can expect things to heat up when the action gets underway. My name is Tarquin Cooper, and I will be commentating throughout the men and women's finals alongside Gordon MacArthur, one of the competitors.
Awesome to be here, thanks guys.
But before this afternoon's action begins, here's a selection of the best moments from yesterday's semi-finals. So who's on the start list? Who's made it to the final 8? In the women, it's first to climb will be DARIYA MININA, then it's HARUKO TAKEUCHI, MARION Thomas, followed by MCSWIGGAN, then it's Ekaterina Vlasova, Maria Tolokanina, then it'll be Sina Gertz, followed by Wunshen Shin. Over on the men's side, first to climb will be Ilya Kurochkin, followed by YOUNGHYE KWON, Tristan Ladevant from France, Hyung Park from Korea, Russia's Alexei Dengin, Nathan Clare, then Luna Ladevant and Mohammad Reza Safdarian from Iran will be the last to climb. Now before they climbed, they had a chance to observe the route. It's a very important time for athletes to, and it's the only time they have to really study the route. Gordon, how important are those 10 minutes?
It's probably the most important part about the whole process. Coming out and being able to view the holds, the moves, they sketch out the movement from start to finish. That gives them the chance to study it and climb their best top to bottom, or bottom to top.
And some of the guys are there with kind of binoculars looking up, some of them are taking notes. I mean, are you actually able to sequence the whole route in your head?
Yeah, with the level of experience out there today, for sure. They've done it before. They read out every detail, how to move their bodies, how to take the hold, all the way right to the final hold.
And then, so when they go back inside, they can literally start to visualize and go through the moves?
Exactly, yeah. They'll go through their notes. They'll actually team up with other competitors too and compare notes, because it's a pretty big team effort out there.
Is that right? That's quite interesting. So it's not everyone, each man, each person for themselves. Athletes, there is a little bit of spirit with the athletes.
Yeah, it used to be pretty individualized, but I've seen this sport grow a lot. Everyone is pretty good friends here, so you'll see a lot of sharing of notes for sure.
So it looks like big cheers over there. Looks like the first athlete, DARIYA MININA, is preparing to set off. Roped in. Let the finals begin.
You'll typically see climbers taking a bit more care off the start. No one wants to fall at the beginning. But once they sort of get going, you'll see them speed things up a little bit.
Do you get very nervous before the start?
Yeah, I do. I find that I get super nervous. In fact, yesterday I almost fell off the starting hold, but luckily I was able to make a fun jump and carried on.
Well, Tristan Ladevant, excuse me, it was Nathan Clerc, excuse me, he fell at one of the first holds in the qualifiers, so he's very lucky to be here. So it can happen to even the best climbers. So DARIYA MININA looking like she's making steady work of this early section of the climb.
I think the competitors will start to feel the temperatures tonight. A couple nights ago for the qualifiers, once the sun dropped, it became a bit more difficult with your hands freezing up.
Yeah, talking of temperatures, I know the official temperature is -8, but of course it feels a lot colder, and it definitely feels like -11. And certainly with as we go on this evening, it will be getting very, very cold when the sun dips behind the horizon.
Yeah, especially with that wind picking up, that certainly adds a few degrees.
A couple of nights ago, it must have been about -20, -25. Very, very cold indeed.
Yeah, the women had it nice. They climbed in the sun, and the men, of course, got the evening show. But we seemed to manage, so it was all good.
Well, all that is to follow. Or a little bit of almost had a bit of a skid there, but couldn't get her right foot in. So she's just gone for a high stein there with her right hand. Talk us through a stein. This is where you hold the axe in a sort of upside down position.
Yeah, it's when you cam the head of the tool against the wall. It's a pretty secure position, generally speaking. It can pop out sometimes, but usually it's quite secure.
And then when you move out of it, it kind of goes into that floating sort of position, doesn't it? So that can be less secure.
Totally. You're able to stand up and gain a lot more height out of the stein pole when you float the head of the tool.
Do you have a favorite hold that you just love, a kind of certain move where you just think, this is bomber, this is so secure, I could just hang here for ages?
Yeah, a big bucket. I love the buckets. You can see DARIYA here, she's moving her way up through clip 4. She seems to be holding her pace, which is cool.
Well, DARIYA didn't top in either the qualifying rounds or the semi, but she was 5th in China last year, so let's see if she can top today. The odds are stacked against her, but she's looking pretty comfortable. Tool in the mouth. You'll see that all athletes have tape around their tool for obvious reasons. You don't want to be putting your mouth around a freezing ice axe, do you?
No, actually, you'll find too that you'll see a little blood on the tape too, because often we bite our lips or our tongues when we're biting the tool, so it's kind of a gruesome thing.
It's probably the only sport where your teeth play an integral part.
Yeah, totally.
Although I think in Scottish winter mountaineering, your teeth come in handy for when you need to bite some turf.
This is a pretty big move here. DARIYA's taking her time here. She's making the clip, which is a smart move. Clips are worth a lot of points here, so good to clip up and get those extra points.
So she's got about 3 minutes left by the looks of it. The women have 6.5 minutes to complete their routes. She just had a couple of attempts on that hold, and you don't want to take too many times to make a hold. You just drain energy. It just leaches out of you. Number 3.
I think DARIYA definitely wants to get her right foot up in that volume. That'll give her a bit more height for the reach. But at this point, you know, the adrenaline's pumping so hard that it's kind of all or nothing.
Just going for a slightly different move here.
It's good that she's trying different things here. A lot of times you can get tunnel vision in these moments when you're not getting the move. There you go, she's got it under probably 6 attempts there, which is great fortitude to keep moving forward.
She'll be happy to have stuck that.
She seems to have energy left here. She keeps moving, which is great.
Hey, we're getting some comments on YouTube. We got one from Ragnar314. Do you know this guy? Gordon, you are awesome. Hope the toe is feeling better.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain what happened to your toe?
Yeah, thanks out there. On the qualifiers, I managed to skip a move, but to do so, I kicked the panel on the wall really hard and put my front point straight through and broke my toe. So, yeah, it's holding on though.
Just a minute and a half left for DARIYA.
Yeah, one thing about DARIYA's movement here, she has kept her pace the whole way. She got held up a couple of times with some moves, but she managed to get through them, and she's still holding on, which is a great fight right now.
But this is where it gets spicy, moving into the overhanging section of that arch.
Yeah, once you get upside down, it certainly adds a lot of pressure. And the fear factor kicks in a bit too because you're upside down.
1 minute left.
How important is it to regulate the adrenaline? Because, you know, is the adrenaline friend or foe?
Definitely foe. You waste a lot of energy with adrenaline, so if you can calm that down and keep a steady heartbeat, you'll end up moving a lot quicker, more efficiently as well.
So it's all about, it brings back to the whole tool in the mouth thing, because, you know, you've got to lower your heart rate. You need to sort of, and the only way to do that is through breathing.
Yep.
So it must be quite an art form to do that, lower your heart rate while there's a tool in your mouth.
Yeah, definitely keeping focus and not panicking is a big thing. And often adrenaline can make you panic and make bad choices. So to regulate that and keep it at bay is the best thing for sure.
A lot of cheers for the Russian athlete from below. She needs to get a move on.
Yeah, you'll see this last minute here, she's trying, oh, then she's off now.
She's off.
Yeah, it's a good fight from DARIYA from the start there.
So she got to clip number 9. Are we going to see a smile from her? Oh yeah, she's happy. But whether it'll be enough to get her on the podium remains to be seen.
Yeah, you can see, I would assume that the cold temps in her fingers played a bit of a factor there falling off. She held on and had a good fight, but she seemed to sort of hit her max there.
That's it. Her finals is over.
We can see all the men here warming up in the warm-up wall, really trying to stay warm, get their fingers moving, get the blood flowing. Standard part pre-climb.
I've heard a lot of climbers will actually get their hands cold before the climb, specifically to get those hot aches or the screaming barfies before a climb.
Yeah, definitely a thing to do. I often get a big pile of snow, submerge my hands, rub it around, run inside, get the screaming barfies, and usually once you got it once, that's it for the night.
So here we now have Ilya Kurochkin from Russia, roping up, ready to begin his finals attempt. Athletes have just 40 seconds to get ready. Just roping up there with your trusty figure of 8.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but Ilya, he's fairly new in the scene and quite young, I think.
Yeah, that's right. He's a former youth champion. And he's the only finalist here not to have topped in the semis. So again, odds are stacked against him, but who knows what he can do.
Russia seems to have always produced really solid climbers here, so it's no surprise that Ilya moved up through the rankings pretty quickly.
Yeah, when you look at the results going back the last 14 years, it's pretty unusual for there not to be a Russian on the podium.
Yeah, Russia has always had a fairly strong presence in the World Cup scene, most definitely. And there's Ilya off. I think we'll see him move quite aggressively.
So the guys have 7 minutes. This isn't a speed climb, but the clock is ticking. So if more than one climber reaches the top, the time decides your ranking. So you can't afford to hang around.
This Krukonogi hold he's on right now, the new medal hold, it's new on the World Cup Tour. It's a pretty spicy hold. He seems to have gotten through it no problem though.
So talk us through these holds that we can see here. The Krukonogi is, often they're quite small, but when you know, they can be absolutely secure, but from my understanding, they're very difficult to land. Yeah,
they're quite technical holds. They add a new kind of fun element to our climbing, which has been really cool. Yeah, very technical, but once you know how to use them, it's fairly tolerable to navigate through.
But whereas plastic can be very forgiving, you can just almost stick your pick almost anywhere and it'll kind of stick in. These Kuganogis, because they're shiny metal, your pick will just skate off if you get it wrong.
Yeah, you're definitely slowing down on the metal holds. The plastic ones, you can be a lot more aggressive for sure.
And this red hold here is an intellect hold, and they have these little pre-drilled holds on the...
Oh! Big jump there. That was a big save. That was awesome.
Likes to live dangerously, this Russian.
Yeah, the routes are getting more and more dynamic these years, and so it's no surprise that we're seeing jumps like that happen.
It's almost like bouldering is kind of making its influence into the Ice Climbing World Cup.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. Ilya seems to be staying quite composed, though. No surprise from the Russian.
He's made clip number 4. Stops for a bit of a rest.
So he's on this new Kukunogi ball hold. Also a quite technical hold if you don't take it correctly. But seems to again navigate it no problem.
And now he moves up into the steeply overhanging section. So you can't really describe the first part as easy, but this is where it gets a lot more intense.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly stayed composed in those opening moves here. You can tell by the way his body's moving that he's wanting to move aggressively.
Very nice technique from the Russian as he just gets that intellect hold with the left hand.
He's got a cheeky heel hook there on the volume, actually. Very creative of him.
Oh, good spot. Yeah, back in the early days, you were allowed heel spurs, but they were banned several years ago, weren't they?
Yeah. I think a good friend of mine, Will Gadd, sort of that movement of getting rid of them. I think they made things too easy, so now, of course, there's no heel spurs.
That's also one of the reasons why we often don't see ice on these routes, isn't it? Because simply, as the sport progresses, you need to be dry tooling for that progression to happen.
Yeah, most definitely. It is nice to see ice, though, as we are an ice sport.
Gets that stein and just gives you an indication of just how solid that is. He's able to just kick up with his legs very, very quickly. Very long reach with the right arm there. Doesn't quite stick it on the first go.
You can see with Ilya when he landed that undercling there, because of the plastic hold, he started to move very aggressively and super quickly.
Into the figure of 4.
Bit caught up there.
Oh.
It's always a bit scary when your rope gets caught in these sharp tools. Doesn't seem to faze him much, though.
There you got a good idea of just what those Kuganogis are like.
Yeah, that's one of the more forgiving ones, for sure.
It's probably. So he's in the figure of 4 position there. Talk us through why you put the leg over. It almost seems like it's harder work to do that, but
it is a bit harder. But what it does though is it gives you an advantage of reaching higher up. It's almost like you add a foothold by putting your leg over your arm. So it gives you an advantage for sure for reach. This is a really technical move here. The intellect to intellect, the little divot holds. A lot of body tension involved moving through that sequence, but he cruised through it no problem there.
So the clock is ticking. He's probably got about 2.5 minutes left. Just on my watch. It's not the official clock here, but...
Yeah, with 2.5 minutes left, he's got actually a fair distance to go still. So to have a chance to top out, he's going to have to get moving, I think. Again, now into the steep area of the wall. It's certainly not the most forgiving part to be in.
He knows he's got to go for it. He can't hang around. He's just got to go for every move. Reaches up with the left. Can he get number 11? And it is the quick draw that determines your score. So you've got to get those clips.
Yeah, you can see him double clipping there to get those points that you were just talking about, which is actually quite a smart move.
Yeah, if you miss a quick draw, that's it.
He's now looking at this is the first big move of the, probably the biggest move of the route here. Reaching across this hanging feature.
Doesn't quite get it. First attempt.
He's changing the lower grip there, which gave him a chance to move out further, I think. It also drops his body down lower when he takes this hit. It's not quite as aggressive.
Oh no!
He's dropped his tool.
He couldn't hang on to his tool. He made the move okay.
Yeah,
but it's like he couldn't release his tool on the left arm.
It was smart of him to drop down, but that might be an issue though.
But he seems to be happy, both arms aloft.
Yeah, lots of enthusiasm from Ilya. I'm sure he's just excited to be in the finals.
Very promising future, no doubt, ahead of this Russian athlete.
It's always one of the problems when you drop a tool. That's the end of your climb. It'd be fun to keep going, but unfortunately that's against the rules.
Do you think you could carry on with one tool?
You know what? I've seen it before. When you're in Sosfei, one of the Russians dropped the tool and he managed to dyno his way through 3 moves. The whole crowd was electric from it. It was pretty fun to watch. All depends on how determined you are.
So if you just tuned in, we're at the finals of the UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup. With me is competitor Gordon MacArthur.
Yeah, super stoked to be here. I'd love to be climbing the finals, but unfortunately that was not part of the deal this year, so we've always got next comp as well, which is exciting. Always fun to talk to all the listeners out there.
Remember, you can follow us online. Head over to our social channels at UIAA Mountains. So we now have the Japanese athlete Takeuchi tooling up, just getting ready for her bid.
Now I could be wrong too, but I think this is one of the first Japanese athletes to be in a final in at least quite some time, if not the first time period.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because the Japanese have really come out in force at this in this tour. Normally we only have a few athletes, but we've got several here in China.
Yeah, the international presence is certainly growing, which is a cool part about this sport. It used to be, only a few countries that would represent the sport, but now it seems to be certainly growing, which is really great to see.
There aren't a huge number of training venues in Japan. I was talking to one of the Japanese athletes earlier and saying there are only 2 dry tooling gyms there, so a lot of them go to Korea to train.
Yeah, Korea is definitely a great space to train because of all the gyms that are there.
And of course, Korea is where we're going to be next weekend in Changchun, so make sure you stay tuned, sign up to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss any updates on that. So, 34 years old. Haruko was 9th in China last year. She's already improved on that.
And here she goes. Right off the hop, you can see her moving quite confidently, actually, which is cool to see. Her movement is very, you can tell that she trains in Korea with certain athletes there. It's very similar.
I'm loving those gloves.
Yeah. I think I've seen a few athletes with those gloves. They're little paw prints, I think.
So am I right in thinking most athletes use golfing gloves?
Yeah, I think all athletes use golfing gloves. They're tight to your hands, but they're also the most grippy. When your gloves are too big, your hands can slip, so the golf gloves being so tight like that certainly helps.
But it must be hilarious when you buy them, because normally if you're a golfer you only buy one.
Yeah, totally. When I go into a golf shop and ask for 2 gloves, they say, "Oh, you're playing golf?" And I'm like, "Well, no, not really." And they often laugh when I tell them why.
So Haruko moving steadily up this first vertical section of the route.
Yeah, she's wasting no time making her way up the wall here.
All her focus is naturally on the route, but what a spectacular location it is. The sun is just about to set.
Yeah, it's actually really pretty right now. We've got the sun to our right, we've got the ice to our left, and then of course the actual structure itself right in the middle. It's really unique here.
Kicks with the feet and then reaches up with that left arm.
Interesting about the kicking in these panels here, there's a few spots when you kick that your crampons actually bounce, so you got to be very strategic as far as where you kick into the panels. Often close to the seams of the panels are better to kick into versus the middle.
Yeah, and it doesn't always work, does it? I mean, you broke your toe.
Yeah, I put my crampon right through the middle actually, which was sort of counterintuitive.
And I think it was David Buffard who actually broke his crampon points.
Yeah. So this wall certainly throwing some curveballs this weekend. Obviously,
footwork is so important, But how different is it to, say, competition sport climbing, where you have so much more range of movement with your feet on a rock climb?
Well, I guess with crampons here, you have to be a bit more intuitive of where you put your feet. You know, in rock climbing, you've got the footholds, so you have a good idea of where to go to. So it takes a lot of practice to be able to place your feet correctly the first time without making lots of adjustments. And that's where you can actually waste a lot of energy, is moving your feet and then readjusting and readjusting.
Readjusting is something that Haruko is just doing right now. We'll try and stick that hold. She's had several attempts now. Ah, she's got it. Oh, did well to hold on there.
Yeah, that move seems to be a bit of a crux so far in the women's route here.
Teammates are shouting from below.
She's certainly holding that aggressive nature right now with her movement. She's quite confident in what she's doing here, it seems.
Still looks like there's 3 minutes left on the clock, but she can't hang around. God, that pick is on almost nothing. It seems insane.
Yeah, one of these Kukunogi holds here. I believe that's one of the Pac-Man holds. It's actually pretty positive, but this the motion she's in right now is quite powerful.
And the body tension that she's having to hold to maintain that position must be next level.
Yeah, it's a lot of energy. Well, taxes your energy a lot. You can see her hands getting a little bit pumped, maybe cold from the temperatures here.
So what body parts do you need to train here? Is it just all about anaerobic strength?
Yeah, a lot of core. It's so much core power. I mean, obviously, you know, arm power, lower back, that sort of thing. Legs. I mean, it's sort of like top to bottom, actually.
Yes. Well, everything.
Yeah. I mean, everything. Yeah.
And endurance.
Yeah, a lot of power endurance for sure involved in this sport. A lot of power endurance. You can see she's slowing down a little bit here, going to the roof here.
Just on that intellect with the left.
Yeah, this traverse section here, you want to try and get out of that as fast as possible.
Matches with the right.
Bit of an intimidating clip here out of the intellect hold, having to reach back behind her.
Can she get it?
Yeah, no problem. Great.
Clip number 10.
Going into the steepest part of the wall now, this is where you have to get really aggressive and then also keep your confidence up too.
Well, she's just bettered Dariya's position, nailing that 10th clip.
That's actually quite smart of her not to use a figure four, but to keep her feet high. It can be a little bit of energy saving, keeping your feet on the wall. Your crampons biting in buys you a bit of time.
Time will be starting to be a factor of consideration for the Japanese athlete. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, down to the last minute now. She has a bit of a chance here if she starts going for it in the roof, going on the swinging volume now. These things can often be a bit awkward, so navigating might be a bit difficult for her.
Yeah, we saw Nikolai Kozovlev getting a real tangle on the hanging volume on the men's semis last night.
Yeah, if you don't navigate it properly, you can definitely waste a lot of time. Over the years, we've seen it happen a few times too.
Oh, she's also tall and just recovered it. Did very well there. She let go of it, but was managed to re-get it with her right hand.
And still keeps her composure, which is really cool.
She seems like she's tying herself in knots here, but she's still there. She's still fighting.
Yeah, she's fighting for that clip there. She knows it's the most points.
She's got number 12.
Oh, she missed the clip.
Has she got it? No, she hasn't got it. Excuse me.
She's got 3 seconds.
It's now or never.
Time's out. That's a bummer. She would have had a good score there with getting that clip in. Good fight, though. Really good fight. She's going to make the leap of faith now and let go.
Are we going to see a smile from her? She'll be disappointed, won't she, not to have got that clip?
Yeah, that was the big thing there, not getting that clip.
It just goes to show how difficult it, how tired you get, how pumped, even just to the simple action of clipping the rope in the quick draw.
Yeah, clipping can often be the hardest part, actually, when your hands are frozen and your arms are pumped. It's kind of like trying to grab something super slippery, like it just doesn't work and your hands won't work. It's quite frustrating, actually, when you're upside down.
So that was Haruko Takeuchi's attempt. Some Japanese supporters out here. Next up will be the men's side, will be KWON from Korea. One of the most experienced athletes on the entire circuit, and one of the few athletes older than you, Gordon.
How old is KWON? Is he 40?
Yeah, no, he's more like 47.
Wow, it's quite impressive, KWON's level of ability. He's come on the scene quite strong in the last 3 or 4 years, actually, and now, of course, he's one of the top climbers. It's always a treat to watch him climb.
Well, last year in China he came 5th, so he will be looking to improve on that.
His biggest thing will be to hold his pace through the entirety of the route. If he can do that, he'll have a good shot of topping the route. Here we go.
And he's off. Seven minutes to get as high as he can. So no points for style. It's just about getting up as high as you can and as fast as possible.
Bit of a tricky move here with that Kukunogi undercling move.
I think they're all tricky moves, aren't they?
Yeah, often the metal holds can be quite tricky. Cool thing they're using his hand. What that does is it gives you the chance to actually move up higher on the hold.
It would actually be quite interesting to see some regular climbers have a go at this, and then you would get a sense of just how difficult it is, because watching these guys you have a false perception of, oh, it doesn't look too bad, I could have a crack at that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of rock climbers. Well, Nathan from France is actually a good example. Very, very strong rock climber turned into World Cup dry tooler.
That seems to be the progression for a lot of young athletes coming through from sport.
Yeah, if there's good support in the country for this kind of sport, then you'll see a lot of athletes, move over for the winter climbing.
Quite a long reach over to the right there.
Yeah, KWON's got quite a large wingspan, so that was a bit of a reach for him versus the jump we saw from the previous climber. I think Ilya being quite a bit shorter than KWON.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how Mohamed Reza Safdarian gets on with that, because he's not the tallest at all. He's about 5'7", I think.
Yeah, he's a very dynamic climber. It'll be a lot of fun to watch him climb. Here KWON is trying to navigate the Kukunogi ball. He had it as an undercling first, which I think is a bit smarter, but now he's got it on top, so we'll see about the reach here. Seems to be actually no problem for him, whereas Ilya had to use it as an undercling.
Steps up, shakes out the left arm, and makes that 6th clip.
KWON seems to be making good time here. 5th clip, he's got about 4.5 minutes left, so moving quite efficiently. But like we were saying with KWON, he has to make sure he keeps that momentum going the whole way through. It's a fairly long route here, so.
He's now approaching the overhanging section. How does this, how's the style of climbing here compared to other routes, say in the US or Korea?
Well, definitely every route sort of has a style. So with Stanislav and Vasily and now Canadian Nathan Kutcher helping out, it's definitely a Russian style of setting versus what we would see, say, in the US or in Korea even.
I talked to one of the Russian route setters a couple of days ago, and he was explaining that for them it's all about making the sort of, for the semis, short technical moves, which turned out to be not that short, and then for the finals they wanted to try and make some more dynamic moves. But of course they're slightly limited by the canvas here being this arch, and the first half being vertical and the second half going into this steeply overhanging section.
Yeah, I definitely think the route setters want to try and give a bit of a show in the final. Everyone loves that dynamic feel and the jumping that we've seen in the past, so always exciting to watch. KWON having a quick shake here before he heads into the steep roof. That's a smart move. Take a few seconds, shake out your hands, be composed, and then get moving. This is a fairly big move.
Just moves his feet a little bit higher as well. Did he get that? Oh, he sticks it first time.
You can see KWON's wingspan fully used there. Good composure using his feet to stop the swing. Super smart move there.
He's looking very composed.
Yeah, he often is. I've never seen KWON stress out, which is what I've always appreciated about his climbing style. The more composed you can stay, the better you save your energy, especially up on the roof there.
Yeah, when you look from afar, it's just insane. He's just totally upside down. The pressure that must put on your forearms. At what point do you start feeling the burn?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all depends on your training. I would think that with the amount of training that KWON does and the style that he does, I would say he's probably doing okay right now. But looking at the time, he's only got about 2 minutes left, and he's got a fair distance to travel still. So at this point, he really needs to turn it up. He's going to have a shot at getting towards the top. But he's still moving quite aggressively across this roof here.
Are you aware of the time when you're climbing, or do you rely on your people shouting up from below?
I think you rely on people, but you also sort of your inner clock. You train a lot with time and practicing time. So I would imagine KWON has a fairly good idea of where he's at right now. But some athletes will actually wear watches on their harness, and they'll keep track of time, so they know how much is left.
Well, not much is left for KWON. He needs to get going if he is to reach the top.
We've got just over a minute, I think.
He gets another hanging volume.
Oh, he's dropped his tool.
Oh, it's all over for KWON.
I think he'll be disappointed in that. I'm sure he would have liked to go a lot further than that. That's a bummer for KWON.
Takes a look up to see what happened. No, he's not looking happy at all.
No, definitely
very
not.
Disappointed.
He wanted to go a lot further than that. I would imagine this cold temperature right now has taken its toll. Well, there's KWON, gives a wave and a thumbs up. He's a very composed athlete, so that's cool to see a little bit of joy in his face there.
Let's see what happens. Reached over, and then it's that left arm that goes. He just lost control of the grip there.
That's actually what happened to Ilya as well, trying to release that left tool with that big drop. So we'll be curious to see what happens with athletes to come here, what they do to navigate that crux.
So we'll be over to the women next. Marion Thomas from France, who is 24, she just turned 24 in November. One of the new part of the French crew who are up and coming up at the moment. They've got some very talented climbers.
Yeah, Marion's always a real treat to watch. She's actually a really strong rock climber as well, so all that training from rock climbing has certainly paid off with her ice axes.
She topped on both her qualifying rounds.
Yeah, she climbed very well actually over the last couple of days. She climbs very composed, very smooth, also quite aggressive, which is cool to see.
And did you see what happened to her in the semis? I didn't.
Oh yes, she got her leg trapped in the rope. That was a bit of a scary situation, but she, you know what? She was happy. She stayed calm and got herself out of it. So
she was laughing about it afterwards.
Yeah, I think the whole crowd was laughing about it afterwards. During, not so much. She has a lot of power, Marion, so she'll move very quickly in these opening moves.
Well, that's what you want to do on this opening section on the vertical bit. It's just about getting up as quickly as possible with minimum loss of energy.
Yeah. It's the same old story about trying to stay ahead of the pump. So you can see her moving quite quickly, very fluid as well. Her kicking's aggressive. She's putting her feet in the right spot the first time, which actually saves you a lot of energy over the course of the route.
We're getting a bit of a masterclass from this French athlete.
Yeah, her tool placements are very smooth. She's not hesitating. She's not second guessing. She's just going for it right now.
You get an idea of how small some of the holds are.
You can see there she's rock climbing the moves, also smart too. If you're confident, if you rock climb it, often you can move a lot quicker, and it also puts your body in a higher position to get to the next hold. Super smart for her there.
Just fishing around for the exact spot for her pick. But she's already at the overhanging section in just in a minute, or just over a minute it's taken her to get there.
Yeah, she's wasting no time at all. One thing that I appreciate too is how fast her clipping is. Often if your clipping is bad, it can actually waste a lot of time, so she's a really efficient clipper with the quick draws.
She certainly means business. She's got it on the third go.
She just adjusted her hand there on the tool, moving it up the head of the tool there, which actually changed the angle, so that was a smart move.
She's looking very confident.
Yeah, no hesitation at all from her right now.
Moving very swiftly through the moves. Up to clip number 8. Still 4 minutes to go on the clock.
Yeah, she's cruising right now. She's got lots of time, which is really great to see. I don't see her pace dropping at all yet. This section here is a bit more technical, going into the underclings, moving across the traverse, but we'll see how she navigates that.
Just looks a little bit awkward here.
Yeah, you can see her putting her feet high though, which actually, again, makes your body in a more efficient position. It also helps her rest a bit here. She'll shake out a second before she begins to traverse. They've actually set those intellect holds in a Stein pull position, which is actually a bit more comforting because your tool's quite secure in that position.
Can she reach? She can't quite reach. She's got it. No. Yes. Oh no, that must be the worst nightmare when the quick draw, because they're long draws, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a big
and
pain.
you get a swing. She's caught it.
You can see how
she's clipped it.
She changed her method of clipping the draw there too, which is a smart move because she could have been fishing around for a while there.
To give you an idea of the cold here, the condensation we're getting a lot on the on the mics.
Yeah, my nose is getting a bit drippy here.
Well, it's not really cold until it starts freezing.
Yeah.
The hairs inside my nose started freezing a couple of nights ago.
Yeah, we've lost our sun now, so any chance of heat is gone.
So she's gone on to that hanging volume. Gets into a swing. Looks like she's controlling it well. Shakes out the left. Shakes out the right. How much respite does a quick shake of the arm give, or is it more psychological?
No, it makes all the difference. The more, you don't want to shake it for too long because then the pump in your arms will catch you, but if you have a quick shake, it kind of makes your arms fresh for that next move. Often I'll shake between my moves as I'm moving. She's a bit of an awkward spot here. Oh, cool, she's actually used the hold as a toe hook. That's actually really smart. That's a rock climber's move right there.
That's interesting. Interesting display, virtuoso display from this French athlete.
Yeah, and that's where being a rock climber can pay off because you're using certain techniques that cross over.
So Marion is getting lots of support from French supporters back home, which is great to see.
Yeah, getting into the roof now. This is where things start to get difficult. She's getting quite close to the top.
Allez, allez, Marion. Lots of shouting from the fans from below.
She has just about a minute left. There's time to top if she hurries. The crowd's starting to pick up here. We're cheering. Here's Marion navigating the roof. She's getting a bit caught up there, but seems to be holding on just fine. Onto the swinging volume. I'm sure she can see that top sign just to her left. Oh, she's on.
Oh no!
That's a great climb. She's quite happy with that.
Well, she made clip number 13, which is the furthest of any of the athletes so far.
One thing we'll see here with this structure, her tool unfortunately was left behind, so one of the route setters has got to scale the back of the structure with a big long stick and poke the tool out, which is always a bit of a time waster. Maybe they'll use the rope to get it.
So with still Maria Tolokanina, with Sina Gertz, with Changchun still to go, it's not looking too good for Marion Thomas's chances on the podium. A lot of very, very strong athletes still to come, but look how happy she is. Big smile there from the still young French athlete, only 24 years old. Big, big hug there from the team. So she got into that Fig 9 and then just lost it.
I'd imagine that was part of pump and the cold temps, but you know, super good fight from her. She's always a treat to watch, always so positive and excited, so it's always fun.
Getting a lot of support there from Annabelle Bouchardon, who is the youngest athlete here today. She's 17, didn't make the finals, but another promising athlete from the French team. So lots of smiles there from Marion, which is good to see.
Smiling.
You want to see people having fun on these competitions, don't you?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, it's always a bit of a difficult thing when you come down and maybe it didn't go as far as you were hoping. But if you can sort of find the joy in the climb and the people and you know, everyone that's watching at home, it's all part of the experience for sure. There's KWON sitting in the hot seat there. Right now he's currently ranked first, I think. But if people bump him down, then he'll get bumped off the hot seat. Yeah, there's one of the setters with a big long stick knocking the tool down. I would imagine that was Nathan Kutcher up there. It seems to be his job this weekend, or one of his many jobs.
Yeah, those guys work so hard. We should really give a big shout out to all the the route setters. You know, they work so setting the route, recovering ice tools, and all the volunteers here today. Judges.
Yeah, countless hours. I mean, it's been cold here. I mean, minus 20, minus 25. So for them to be out here all day long, I think they said they were out here till 2 a.m. the other night finishing up the route. So it's a lot of dedication and effort to go into these comps.
So we're seeing Tristan now has arrived into the starting area. Tristan Ladevant, 22-year-old French athlete. And the first time that he has reached the finals. Normally his brother is the better climber of the pair, Luna Ladevant. So it's surprising to see him here. He'll be very, very happy. He did actually qualify for the speed finals. He got to the last round of 16, but decided to forego that to concentrate all his strength and effort for this finals. It obviously means a lot to him.
Yeah, I think it was a smart decision on his part because speed can actually be quite taxing, especially on your pull power, your biceps and such. And so with them so close together, I think it was a smart idea for him to bow out of the speed and focus on the lead. There's no shortage of power with Tristan. He's a 14-plus rock climber, so he's no stranger to trying hard, that's for sure.
Both these French athletes are forced to be reckoned with. And he means business. He looks very psyched, little nod to the judge.
He's a super aggressive climber, same with his brother too, so you'll see him probably moving quite quickly as they navigate this route.
Great character as well. He and his brother are almost inseparable.
Yeah, when there's one, there's the other, that's for sure.
He's been climbing since he was about 10 years old. But, oh no!
Oh, good save, good save.
It just goes to show, doesn't it, that even top climber can make a mistake early on and it can be very, very costly. So he did well to recover and hold that.
Well, what happened there is that over the course of the weekend, that hold has been set in a way that you could stymple it. So you could see him testing it, thinking that might have been the same, but clearly it wasn't set that way this time. He's going to adjust his feet here. There you go.
Get the feet right, and then he can make the move. Lots of shouts from his French teammates. Allez, allez, allez.
Oh, good pop there. See, sometimes you have to be aggressive and just go for it.
Yeah, if he didn't get that, that would have been a fall.
Yeah, here's the rock climbing skills coming out here. Quite confident moving on his hands.
Gets the move with the left. Well, he started off fast, but it seems like he's not so fast now.
Yeah, sometimes I've found that starting off fast, you can sort of make careless errors, and maybe that's sort of what happened there, and so he's backed off a little bit, which is maybe a smart thing. I'm sure he's a bit nervous after that slight slip there.
Long reach off to the right there. he likes to live dangerously, this boy, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's still on though, which is great. You know, I think he lives for this kind of adrenaline pumping through him. We were talking about that earlier, but I think he feeds off of it. You can see him using his hands there to feel out the hold. This is interesting. I haven't seen, see he backed off of it. He was going to try and use his hands in that hold there, but it's smart of him to back off from that because those things are quite slippery.
Very big reach there with the left. Matches with the right.
You can see that when they gain the confidence of the hold, they'll move their feet quite quickly to sort of save time and efficiently move their bodies upwards.
He's got clip number 6. Moves into quite a high fig 4 there, doesn't he?
Yeah, it's actually a big figure 4. That hold, again, is a kukunogi hold. It's pretty good, but it's risky to be figure 4ing off of it.
Can you get the intellect?
Others have used that kukunogi hold in the undercling as well, which may have been a smarter choice, but you know, he seems to have gotten through it, so off he goes here.
Gets the 6th clip. Big reach left onto that plastic. Foot doesn't quite stick there, but gets it on the second go. He's got the intellect with the right. Makes number 7. There's Moot working steadily up. The clock is ticking.
Just over 3 minutes here now left for Tristan. Again, a fairly long ways to go, so for him to get close to the top, he's going to have to move a bit faster. But you can see by the way he's kicking there that he's got lots of energy left, so hopefully he sees the time and gets moving here.
Matches with the right. Now it's a big reach up into that Krugonogi. He sticks it the first time, which he will be happy with. Oh! That is not a place where you want to dangle, is it? With your arms just on max wingspan. That
flexibility was quite impressive there from Tristan. Being able to do the splits in the air certainly helps when you're at your max.
Gets number 9. He needs to move quickly now. Gets the next intellect.
This is a dicey move here with the intellect and with his feet under the volume. A lot of power to get out of this.
Well, if there's one athlete who's got a lot of power, it is Tristan Ludovin.
Definitely. Clip 10 doesn't seem to be a problem for him. Just under 2 minutes now.
He's fighting. He's still fighting. Awkward move here with that side pull. You've got to get your body tension just right. Reach up with the left.
Tristan's getting to this steep section now. Getting close to clip 12 where we've seen everyone fall so far. We'll see how he navigates it.
Still a way to go before he has bettered the performance of both Ilya and Younghye. He's got to move beyond 12 if he's to stand a chance of getting up onto the podium.
Hopefully he can make clip 12 from his position and then make the move. Yeah, there you go. Smart. Again, always making the clip first if you can is the best way to go, because if you do fall off, at least you got the points from the clip, which is far more important than the hold itself. He's keeping his left hand high for this move, which I actually think is smarter because you can release the tool a bit easier, but still a very big move to come out of. If he sticks this, he'll be the first one.
Here he goes.
Yeah,
Gets the Fig 9.
Go for it. Come on now.
He's just got to get that tool out. He gets it out. Hangs on.
Super.
He's done it.
Super. Clearly his grip strength is holding on just fine.
He will be happy with that. Into the Fig 9. Tool in the mouth.
That puts him into first place, I think, at the moment.
And he's directly underneath the final section now. But just at this point, this is where the difficulties don't decrease, they only increase.
Oh, that's a big move for him there with about 10 seconds left.
It's all or nothing now.
Yeah, he's fighting hard right now, super hard. That'll be timeout for him now, I think.
Yeah, he's dropped the tool. It's all over.
It's certainly secured him on top spot right now, though, which is a great performance from him.
Big cheers from the crowd below for Tristan Ladevant. He'll be very happy. He didn't reach the finals and any of the stops from last year. He looks pretty worked. Thumb up. He's worked.
He's pumped.
He is massively pumped. So out of breath.
Yeah, I think he's struggling to compose himself right now, but I think once he catches his breath, he'll be happy with that performance. Once he finds out he's took top spot, there he is, flexing the guns.
Look, the guns come out. Look what they can do. What a great performance from the young 22-year-old.
Always humor from Tristan, which is great.
So these are some of the best moments from his climb. That early dyno off to the right. Very bold, just going for it. And then here onto that hanging volume.
A big point of that move there was his foot was actually under the volume, which helps to stop the swing. It's a smart little tactic there.
So next up for the women will be none other than EIMIR MCSWIGGAN.
EIMIR's come a long ways. I remember meeting her about 10 years ago in Korea, and she just started out, and now she's one of the top women quite consistently, actually, and she's even got a bit of a following. Everyone mixed-swooning out there.
Yeah, she's really an honorary member of the Korean team. She's not based in Ireland at all. She's based in Korea. It's where she got into ice climbing in the first place. And just loves the scene out there, loves ice climbing, and got into sport. And the rest, as I say, is history.
Yeah, I've got high hopes for EIMIR. She's such a treat, always so kind and willing to reach out to people, and just a great personality overall. So,
at 41, she's also one of the older athletes on the circuit. Proof that age is no barrier.
Definitely agree with that.
Have you reached the 40?
Yeah, I turned 40 just in December here, so oddly I seem to be climbing a bit better than I was in my 30s, so seems to be a bit left in the tank yet.
Well, you actually retired, didn't you? And then decided to come back.
Yeah, I did retire. I was competing for a long time, and I guess just for personal things, I just felt I was finished, but I was given a great opportunity by Outdoor Research to come back, and so here we are, back.
And we should say a big thanks to Outdoor Research for supporting us in this tour.
Sorry, go ahead.
They are the headline sponsor, and we couldn't host it without their support. Fantastic brand. Keeping us warm on the outdoor studio as well. The temperature's definitely dropped to below -8.
I love EIMIR's pink shirt, nice and bright. One thing about EIMIR's climbing is that you'll see that she's very efficient, but her pace seems to be steady the whole way. She generally doesn't slow down, and so I think we'll probably see a high point from her. Her confidence is high, her movement is strong, so it's always cool to watch her climb, especially in the finals.
She's a very strong athlete.
Yeah, she's got quick feet, which is definitely a Korean style of movement. She trains with the Koreans and has done for years now, so you can see that coming out here right now.
Got clip number 5. She'll be hoping to improve on her last outing here in China. Last year she came second.
Oh, right, on the podium, yeah.
Oh, just almost popped there with the right foot. Managed to recover. So how important is it with your feet to have the angle of the crampon just right?
Yeah, I mean,
if your heel is too low or too high, is it more? Is there a greater tendency for it to skate out?
Well, the thing with the heels, if you drop a heel, yeah, your crampon can come out, but two, you're losing actually a bit of a height advantage. So it's good to sort of press up, almost like a ballerina, but you have to sort of know that fine line that your crampon doesn't fall out, but that you're gaining the most height advantage out of it.
Reaches up with the left. She's got the 6 clip, and she's almost within touching distance of 7.
She knows these holds very well. She trains on them all the time, actually. The Korean style holds, designed by Hyung Park, actually. They're called the Ice Kings. So she's quite familiar with these moves.
Just a little bounce up there, change her position.
She's taking a different approach than everybody else in the figure 4.
Very delicate.
Yeah, I think at this point, yeah, there, good for her. She's got it. Again, the figure 4, it can give you that height advantage, but also give you a reach advantage out to the right or left. So she chose that route, and it seemed to work out just fine for her.
But with your picks so sharp, they must give a bit of bite into those plastic holds.
They definitely do, especially after a few climbers have gone and worn in a few hot spots there. The hold does get a little bit better. Depending on how hard the resin is on the hold, often it can be a bit of an advantage if you go later. We've seen that in previous comps too with other hold brands. The metal ones, though, they are what they are every time.
Yeah.
About 2.5 minutes left for EIMIR here. Getting into the roof here is going to be the difficult part for her to keep that efficient movement, the consistency.
But she's moving out. We've got the traverse to come.
Doesn't seem to be struggling quite yet.
So the ideal route, one of the route setters was explaining, is if you only have a couple of athletes who are able to top, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's the best show. You know, in the semifinals in the men's, we saw 8 tops, and that was sort of the barrier to make the finals. You generally want 1 or 2 tops to make it really exciting, sort of separate the field.
She gets number 10.
This is a technical move coming in here too. It's sort of a hook, but you have to keep your body really tight so your tool doesn't skate off. And also you're upside down, so that adds a bit of an element.
It's ferociously difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things going on when you're upside down like this.
It's so next level. It's extraordinary to watch, actually. The strength, she's been going for a few minutes, the arms must be pumped, the lactic acid, and then you kind of reach out onto something and it moves onto this floating volume, swinging around.
Yeah, you can see her moving quite quickly now. She knows what she's got to do. She's being really aggressive, and that's cool. Oh, she's still on. No problem, though. Oh.
It's looking very dangerous.
She's still fighting. She's fighting. Wow.
Can she recover? Can she recover?
This is awesome. Come on, EIMIR. Still fighting, still on, still holding. No problem. Now she's just have a quick shake with one arm. Can she get up?
Can she do it? She's got to kick that leg up. It's not going to happen. One last attempt.
She's fighting. Come on, EIMIR. Shaking it with one hand, staying composed.
It's amazing how long she can hold at all.
This is difficult with these floating volumes. Oh.
She's just so close there. She just can't quite get her foot up.
And this is that core tension we're talking about, being able to lift your body up like that. Her grip strength seems to be just fine, though, as you can see her holding on by one hand. Come on, EIMIR.
Come on, EIMIR.
Get up there. Come on now.
Can she get the tool in?
Still fighting with one hand.
It's incredible. It's incredible how long she can hold on with just one arm.
She's putting on a bit of a show here. She's fighting real hard to stay on. This is the kind of fight we want to see in World Cups. What a bummer.
And she's lost that battle. But what a fight she put up.
Still keeping a smile, but I don't think she'll be happy with that, though. I'm sure she wanted to go to the end, as we all do.
There must be that nagging sense, no matter how well you do, that you could have possibly gone further.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, EIMIR could have gone a lot further there, but she had a bit of an unlucky thing happen there with her feet cutting, and often when you're tired, exhausted up there, it's hard to get recomposed and repositioned, so.
She's looking up. There's a smile. There's a smile.
I'm watching my my good friend Hyung Park here make the walk here out to the structure. He's been around the scene for a long time here and always one of the crowd favorites. So we have high hopes for Hyung today.
Well, I don't think we can level anything at EIMIR for not hanging on for long enough. She might be interesting to know exactly how long she was holding on for there. It must be at least 30 seconds.
I'm sure she'll watch the replay and be quite surprised of herself there. It's a good fight hanging on by one hand. Very impressive.
So look at this man, Hyung Park.
This moment here when you're tying in, this is when your head has to stay the most calm, because all the things can be swirling through your head, wondering what you're going to do, how it's going to go. But if I know Hyung well, he's always very composed. He's been here a million times. You're going to see him move really aggressively off the hop. He'll set the tone for sure.
3-time world champion. Very experienced athlete. Let's see what he is made of today.
Sip of warm tea there just to get my voice ready for Hyung here to cheer him on.
So in the semis, he topped in exactly the same time as Tristan Ladevant, with just 6 seconds to spare.
Yeah, you'll see him. The moment he leaves the ground, he'll be off for the races. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, moving very quickly up these first opening moves. Keen to just conserve as much energy as possible.
He knows full well with his level of experience that he's going to move really fast. Again, using the rock climbing skills there, very strong rock climber.
He's not just a rock climber, he's an incredible alpinist, isn't he?
Yeah, he's done a lot of things too. He's been in Alaska, Patagonia, so he's no stranger to the big mountains. His level of power, he's short, but his level of power is just absolutely through the roof.
The rope just got in the way there. And with his pick so sharp, you don't really want to stab through the rope, do you?
No. Hyung's picks are actually really cool. He's customized them 100%. They're original Petzl picks, but he's basically taken them down to nothing and then reshaped them himself.
Well, I've heard it said that he's so meticulous. He can spend up to 2 hours sharpening his tools.
Yeah, he knows what's perfect for him, most definitely.
He's likened it to being a harang warrior.
Yeah.
Like because Korea's equivalent of the samurai warrior.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's certainly got a fighting spirit, which is what you need on a route of this difficulty. What's he going to make of this little traverse right?
Well, he definitely knows these holds. I mean, he custom carved them himself. He designed these holds, the Ice King holds. So as soon as he gets to the plastic, I guarantee you he'll move twice as fast as most.
He's a lot kinder to his fans and supporters, unlike Tristan Ladevant, who just leaps over, and all the fans and supporters just have leaps of the heart in the mouth. Looking very controlled and precise.
Yeah, definitely one of the more technical spots of the route we've seen so far, with the intellects and the kukunogi holds, the metal holds basically. This one being one of the harder moves here, but no problem there for Hyung. One thing that I've seen about Hyung too is he knows when to turn it up, and his level of power endurance is through the roof, so when it has to count, he'll make it count and move quite quickly.
Let's see if he can be the first athlete to top. Yet to see anyone top so far.
Yeah, what a big move there from Hyung. Such incredible strength. Having trained with him a lot.
So that's the ice box we're looking at. They're the current leaders, where they can see and watch the action with the hearts and mouths.
You can see the wood kicking back there a little bit with Hyung, but he knows how to handle it just fine. Going into clip 7 here. He's got about 4 minutes left, it looks like, which actually is quite a fast pace compared to the other climbers we've seen so far.
I don't think Tristan Ladevant is going to be in that ice box for long, do you?
Well, unfortunately not. She hasn't had a great climb, but the way that Hyung's moving, I mean, anything can happen in these comps though, but he's certainly moving very quickly.
Gets it with the Stein. Very, very solid there, and gets the clip nice and easily.
Nearing into the roof here, you'll see Hyung become really, really efficient. This is his jam, getting upside down. He just knows when. Oh, a little bit of a cut there.
Extraordinary wingspan on that arm length. He was just absolutely at the max. Let go, swung across.
It's cool how he just engaged his body there and swung back with no effort.
And hanging off, what, just less than a centimetre of a pick.
Yeah.
It just goes to show what the forces you can hang off these picks. So on that intellect, gets the 10th.
Yeah, this is one of the more technical spots as well right here. The double intellect move up to the undercling towards the clip 11. But Hyung's power though, he's no stranger to techie moves.
This is where it starts to get very spicy. Tristan Ladevant will be starting to get rather worried at this point.
Down to 3.5 minutes now.
Still a few moves to go. It's got to get that intellect on the red. And then it's over onto that next hanging volume.
You see Hyung's opting to kick his feet high in the wall and not using a figure 4. You're a lot more steady, especially on the technical holds. Plus, it also takes a bit of weight off your body too, giving you a bit of a rest. Down to 2 minutes now. Will it be enough?
He's got number 12. Little bit of a rest there with the left arm, shakes it out, and the right. Get the blood flowing.
This is definitely the crux move here. We'll see how he handles it.
And he makes it look easy.
No big deal at all. I was training with Hyung just a few days ago in his gym, and this kind of move is very common with his root setting, and so for him to do that is second nature.
So switching between Fig 9s there. Just changing the body position around, presumably just to get a little bit of rest back, find the optimum position to make the next move.
Yeah, he's definitely seeing, oh, there he goes. He was definitely taking the time there just to read how to get to the next move, what handle and what grip to use. He seems to have read it just correctly. Again, using the roof of the structure instead of figure 4s, it takes the weight off his hands. You can see he's getting pumped here. It's a big traverse here with no clip. His last clip is probably about 10 feet away from him now, so.
He is now past Tristan's high point. Up onto that intellect. It's incredibly acrobatic to watch. The agility, the strength, the power is just extraordinary to behold.
Yeah, he's turning it up now.
He's shaking out. Yeah, look at him go.
He's going to make this clip, and he's going to absolutely punch it. He's got about 12 seconds left here. He's going for it. Big move. Sticks it first try. He's going to try and squeeze one more move in. Going for that reach.
Can he get it?
He's got that move.
But the clock, it's timed out. He will be very happy at least that he got as high as he did, but there's always the nagging feeling that he could have gone further.
Yeah, quite intuitive of him there actually as he was moving through those last moves. He was going very quickly, but he knew that there was not a lot of time left, so he was racing to get as many moves as possible before he timed out. So that was good on him for doing that.
Whether it's enough to get onto the stand, onto the podium, we shall have to wait and see how the other males get on. We've got Alexei Dengin next, Nathan Claire, Luna Ladevant, and Mohamed Reza Safdarian still to come on the men's.
Alexei Dengin's always entertaining to watch. He pours his heart into this sport, a lot of emotion, so I'm sure we'll see a good show from him.
So, bit of clap hands there from Hyun Park. What a performance from the Korean athlete.
It goes to show how much this route is involved. With Hyung Park not to top, it's very rare. So it's a long route, not a lot of time. It's freezing cold out here. So a lot of things come into play here. So that's clip 14 with Hyung. We'll see with the following climbers to come here where he'll lay.
So we switch over to the women, and it's Ekaterina Vlasova from Russia who is next to try to put her skill to the test. Skill, strength and determination.
It's always fun to watch Katya climb. You know, trained heavily by Pavel Dobrinsky, and Pavel's level of experience, many years of being such a top, strong climber. You can definitely see his style in Katya and how she moves and her aggressive movement and her fearless, you know, ability.
Well, she's a former silver medalist, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
A couple of years ago, I think it was in 2018, that she came fourth on every stop. Yeah. Which must be a really bittersweet performance.
If it's one thing, it's consistent, but I'm sure she would have appreciated a medal in there somewhere.
Yeah, to be so close and not quite make it. So just matches with the tools there, making easy work of this first section, moving swiftly up. Just glances over to see the next hold, onto the plastic.
A lot of body tension from her right now, staying nice and firm on the wall, controlling her movement. Often climbers will take a bit of extra time at the beginning just to gain composure and confidence, and then as they move on, you know, that confidence kicks in and you'll see them move a bit faster. Katya, no stranger to intellects. They train in Moscow in a structure that's flooded with intellect holds.
She's going to need all the experience that she can draw on. But she's looking pretty good here. Up through this first section of the climb, this vertical section of the wall, before the arch begins and the overhanging fun starts.
Often the vertical sections can actually tax you the most technical, maybe a lot of power involved, and so it can be hard to, you know, get through all that and then head into an upside down roof section. But a lot of climbers will find the opening sections quite a bit harder than the roofs. We saw that in the qualifiers, the semifinals yesterday. The beginning of the route was a bit more technical, and into the roof got a little bit easier. Bigger holds, etc.
Pulls through and gets the 6th clip.
A lot of core tension there, holding that position.
Reaches up, works through.
Katya sporting her new pink and purple Krukonogi top this year, their new uniforms. The tools she's using are actually designed by Krukonogi, and a lot of athletes, including myself, have adopted those this year and over the past few years.
Well, they're very distinctive, aren't they? Because they've got that double head on the top.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely designed specific to this sport. Krukonogi's been around for a long time, starting with picks, and as they've evolved, they've now sort of taken control on, in my opinion, having the best axe for this sport. And we're seeing it now with more and more athletes using them, that they're probably the best axe.
And how does it compare to conventional ice climbing equipment? I mean, the picks obviously need to be much stronger, don't they? Just because the forces you're putting through them.
Certainly the picks, the geometry of the pick angle, same with the ice axes, and more specifically the handles too. The way that they've designed their handles are very, very specific to this sport, being able to put both hands in the lower handle for matching, efficiency, etc. So yeah, they're certainly customized to this sport.
It'll be interesting to see how the equipment develops over the next few years.
Yeah, it's evolving up and down. I mean, I've been in the sport for over 10 years now, and to see where it's gone, where it's come back from, and then now where it's continuing to. It's really cool.
What's been the biggest change for you in the 10 years you've been competing?
Well, I mean, the long axe was the biggest thing that sort of changed. There was a rule, or there's a box that your axe has to fit in, and before that became a thing, people were making these very long axes, but now they've sort of regulated that a bit, so they've pulled it back a little bit.
Just had to change her position there to get clip number 9. Didn't get it on the first time, wasted a little bit of time there. 2.5 minutes still to go.
Yeah, 2.5 minutes would be enough time to get through this, but she certainly has to be a bit more aggressive as she goes into the Stein pull here on the intellect hold. She'll opt to clip again to get those points. Very smart. Bit of an awkward clip because you're reaching sort of behind you and quite a ways back too.
And if you just knock it and don't quite get it, it must be maddening because it starts to swing and then you've got to catch it and then waste valuable time.
Yeah, that's where clipping becomes one of the more important things to be good at in the sport, being efficient with your clipping, because you could waste upwards of a minute over the course of a route if you fumble several clips.
The clips really are so important, as you say. I mean, it is they that determine your score. It's the clip that you get is the first number on your score, followed by the hold. So it's all about reaching the next clip.
Yeah, priority for the clips for sure, and then in a desperate act, start reaching for holds just to gain the extra points, like we saw with Hyung.
So she goes over to this hanging volume.
Seems to be no problem with her whatsoever. She's got about a minute and 15 left here. You know, if she gets moving here, she's got a good shot at topping this route, but she really has to navigate this awkward box here.
That was the scene of disaster for EIMIR MCSWIGGAN, her nemesis. Let's see what Ekaterina can do.
Katya here is sort of fighting with her crampons to stay in the box.
She just wasn't able to pull the rope through there. It looked like she reached over and there's still too much tension to pull it through.
Sometimes it's smarter to go to the next hold, you know, and get a bit of composure, but in this case, she's going to go for the clip instead.
Do you often get rope drag? Because it looked like she tried to pull it through and couldn't, it wasn't coming.
Yeah, there's a number of factors that come into play here. Sometimes the belayer doesn't read the rope correctly, or maybe the direction of the rope, or maybe it gets caught in a crampon. There's a whole pile of things that can cause rope drag. It can actually often lead to a technical if the athlete called it, but at this point I think Katya is just concerned about getting the clip and moving forward.
She's got 20 seconds. The shouts from below, you can see willing her on.
The pump in her hand when she's throwing with that ice axe she's having a hard time. Looks like that's the end of her time.
It's now or never.
Come on, Katya. Oh, she's got it. Right in time.
She got the hole.
Oh, she's got both ice axes stuck now. That'll be a bit of a job with the guy with the stick.
Yeah, we can expect a little bit of a delay now before those tools are retrieved.
I think she stuck that hold in the dying seconds there of her time, which I think that puts her either tied or in first.
That could be in first. The Marion Thomas got to clip number 13, so certainly second.
Slowly being lowered here. The belayer's doing that for a reason, because the ice axe is actually over top of the rope. Can't quite see if it's the pick or if it's just the shaft of the ice axe, but they're taking the time just to be safe.
She looks like she's very emotional coming down. Just has her hands, face in her hands on the way down.
It's great to see Katya return to the tour. She spent a year with her family and now she's back in action. It's awesome to see she hasn't skipped a beat.
Looks up. Are we going to get a smile from her?
Oh, there's the stick coming out. Trusty old stick.
Both tools need to be retrieved.
Definitely Nathan Kutcher. He's a pro at this. Nathan Kutcher competed in the World Cup Tour for quite a few years. Good friend of mine. He's now gone into the route setting business, which is a really cool transition from competing to the next step. He's been an integral part at this competition. He's got a lot of experience moving, especially in the Russian style. He spent a lot of time in Russia a few years back training with many of the Russians, so he definitely knows how to set routes and move in that style.
So if you do want to check the exact results as they are, head over to uiaa.results.info. Those results are updated live.
Nathan seems to have pushed the axe further down the rope right now. He's having a bit of a go. They're trying hard here, but that thing is holding on tight. Now it seems to be
fishing. It's a real fishing expedition, isn't it?
Seems to be caught in the quick draw. He's trying hard not to drop the ice axe. The axes are quite strong, but it is concrete down below.
Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. It's like It's like one of those fishing things at the fishing out the duck at the at the playground. He's got it.
Oh, he's trying to. Oh, he dropped it. He's got one more to get there. The crowd's all behind him. Katya waiting there, wondering where she'll sit. There's the second axe. Good job, Nathan Kutcher.
So Maria Toma is still in top position at the moment. Katerina wasn't enough to move into the lead.
So that guarantees Marion fourth place so far. We'll see where the cards lay here as we move forward.
So now it's Alexei Dengin for his turn on the men's lead route. The first stop of the UIAA Ice Climbing World Tour here in Changchun, China.
Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely spectacular location here. But the sun has gone down. It's getting very, very cold. How much of an impact is it to just a few degrees make?
It definitely makes a big difference. I would think, though, with Alexei and being in Russia,
he's going to be used to the cold, isn't he?
Yeah, there he is being aggressive right off the hop. Big leap there. If there's passion in a climber, Alexei Dengin is it. He pours his heart into the sport. And he's also one of those guys that will spend a lot of time trying to help you as you come through the rankings. I've spent a lot of time training with him, and he's been an amazing part of my journey as well. So it's great to see him still competing after all these years.
Well, when he's on form, he's very, very dangerous.
Yeah, he's lacked a bit of consistency over the years, but like you said, when he goes for it and he stays on, generally he finds a good result.
Because he flunked China last year, came 19th.
Yeah.
But over the last 12 years, he has had 9 top 10 finishes on the season, at the end of the season.
Yeah, it was cool to see him a few years back in Durango. I believe he won there, and that was a really great moment to share with him. All the athletes were extremely excited for him. He worked so hard to see him find that success is really great.
Good close up there of the Kruganogi hold, and that polished metal. Very, very positive when you get your pick on it, but difficult to land.
Alexei's years of experience gives him the opportunity to move aggressively, especially going to this technical part here.
So if you're just tuning in, here's one of the probably the opening exciting move on the men's route. Traverse right. Tristan Ladevon made it very exciting. Oh.
You know,
that's how to do it.
He shook his head there. Oh man, I bet you his heart was pumping on that one. But good on him for, and that's what it takes sometimes in the finals, is to have that aggressive nature. And if there's a guy who's going to have it, he's the one.
You've got to be very confident in your ability to just go for that, haven't you?
Yeah, most definitely. He saw it, and that's what it takes too. When you see a jump like that, the idea is you see it and go. There's no hesitation. Don't second guess yourself. And we talked a lot about that in the semifinals, is to not hesitate. You have to see it, believe it, and go for it. Here's a replay right here.
So he just starts the jump before he's landed that right hold. Very risky maneuver, but when you have the confidence and experience of someone like Alexei Dengin, you can get away with it.
He's gone through about 2.5 minutes here, 4.5 left. Quite a long ways to go yet, but he's still trucking along.
What do you think? Do you think Alexei's got it in him to make the podium?
He's got a deep, deep sense of fight in him.
Oh no!
That is unfortunate.
Well, we were saying earlier, when he's on form, he's very dangerous, but he's erratic, can blow up. So
yeah, his aggressiveness can sometimes bite him in the butt, and as we see here, that's super unfortunate. He was going for a big lunge, again, trying to keep that aggressive nature, but it didn't work out this time, unfortunately, shaking his head there.
Well, there you see it. If you just tuned in and only saw this guy in action, you get a sense of when that aggressive nature, when it lands, it works perfectly, but when it doesn't, it's game over. And he's looking up as if to searching for the answer to what happened, and just didn't work out on that occasion.
Yeah, seeing him make that original jump there, a jump that maybe wasn't necessary. You could see in his head that he was, on fire, going to fight, but perhaps fighting like that maybe wasn't the best tactic in his time.
Oh dear, he's not happy at all. Not happy at all with that performance. That's a shame to see.
Yeah, it's tough. Like I said, we talked about his emotion, his level of passion. Unfortunately, right now it's getting the better of him. And that's sort of how it goes sometimes.
I mean, he made, that spectacular dyno move early on, and then when he tried it for the second time, where, as you say, he didn't need to do that. When you compare him to the style of Hyung and how he approached it, some of the other climbers just much more poised and careful and deliberate.
Yeah, he lifted his elbow there just a bit too much in his lunge, and that caused his pick to come out of the kukunogi hold there, and unfortunately spin him off.
So, over to the women, to none other than Maria Tolokhanina, one of the only two athletes who also competed in the speed. So she's also competed in the speed today. She's come second, so she's already got one medal in the bag, but there's always room for more medals in her trophy cabinet.
Certainly, she is probably one of the most experienced climbers out there today. She has had a lot of victory. She's also been spit off a few times, but I have a good feeling tonight that she's going to have a good climb.
So we saw the male athletes who were down to do the speed event, Tristan and Riza. They both pulled out of it to concentrate on the lead, but obviously Maria Tolokhanina decided not to. But how much of a dent in the reserves of energy will it have taken out of her?
I think for her, nothing. She's got so much experience. She's so strong and so well composed. She trains all year round, whether it be cardio or climbing specific, and she has so much experience in both.
She has a ridiculous amount of experience. I mean, she's only 32 years old.
Yeah.
And yet she's been around for about 20 years. I think I read she got her first sport climbing podium when she was in 1995, which is before some of the younger athletes were even born.
Yeah, she has a lot of reserve for power that I'm sure we'll see once she gets into the steep part of the roof there.
So just over a minute has gone and she's already at clip number 5.
Yeah, I mean, this is the biggest difference we see with her versus other climbers, is that her movement is just so quick and so confident. Her level of power is just unwavering. So to see her moving so efficiently, this is sort of just par for the course with her.
So if I were Marion Thomas sitting on the ice box, I would be starting to get a little bit worried now. But I don't think Marion would mind losing to someone of Maria's experience and ability.
We'll see here with Masha being a little bit shorter, having to be a bit more aggressive with this move, but on the plastic holes that enables that.
Didn't get it. It's a fifth time.
There she goes.
I think it was the 5th time.
Yeah, which seems to be what we've seen a lot of tonight. EIMIR opted for the figure 4 for that move, and it worked out well for her. So everybody has their own style. Masha just seems to use power, and that seems to work for her.
Just brute strength.
Yeah. That's a big advantage that she has, is her level of power.
Just talking about strength for a second, I know it's probably a bit of a non-climber question, but how many pull-ups can someone like Maria crank out?
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet she could do about 30 to 40 in a row. I've watched her snap off 25 without much of a flinch. So.
What about you, Gordon?
If I'm feeling good, maybe about 40. If I'm feeling soft, 25.
40. That's incredible. But of course, it's not just about upper body strength. It's about linking it all together.
Yeah.
With endurance. She's just stabilizes her position effortlessly there in the fig 4.
Still over 3 minutes to go, 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go, and she's getting to the roof now. Most climbers out about 2.5 minutes at this point here, so she seems to be about a minute ahead about everybody else.
So all athletes before they started get this 10-minute period to observe the route. So these moves that she's making at the moment, will they still be the ones that she was thinking in her head, working over and over for the last hour since this contest began?
Yeah, I'd say about 90%. Oftentimes we'll have a plan and then you'll get there and you'll tweak things a little bit, but a lot of these moves are fairly straightforward in what you're supposed to do with them. So I would imagine she has this in her head still right now.
So it's really just about kind of linking these sequence of moves and being able to kind of make it all happen in fluid movement.
Yeah. You can see her level of confidence in these holds, these kukunogi holds. She obviously trains on them, so she's able to be aggressive with them, going into figure 4 with them and such. So it's cool to see her move really fluid through them.
So here is the hanging feature of doom that proves to be the sticking point for most of the girls so far.
She's nearing the high point where the other girls sit, and she's still got over 2 minutes left, which is really, really impressive. It shows her efficiency through the roofs and through all the moves. Her big problem right now is that she's in what's called a figure 9, which is harder to. Oh, maybe that. No, it's a figure 4, but she's sort of backwards here with her move. She's going to swing that volume. There, she's got it.
Third attempt. She's got it. Effortlessly changes hands.
Often creating momentum with those volumes is how you get those moves that are further away. So clearly she figured that out pretty quickly.
So you actually want to get a swing going.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost like a traverse. Big reach out there with that left arm.
Minute and a half left too. Wow.
Effortlessly swings over. Fig 9 to clip number 13. We might be seeing an end to Marion Thomas's reign at the top.
With a minute left to go here.
It's looking good for Maria Tolokanina.
Still figure 4ing without much trouble at all. Her structure in Kirov, Russia, it's a very, very long, steep structure that requires a lot of figure 4s and such, and so you can see how composed she is in that position, taking big, aggressive swings.
She's on fire now.
Yeah, she's moving really fast.
She is now. She's ahead of Marion Thomas. She moves into the lead.
She's going for this top move.
Got to get it. She not first time.
Got it.
Gets it with the second. Now it's getting the clip.
30 seconds.
She's got the clip.
Top
matches.
Amazing.
She's done it.
Absolutely amazing.
First athlete to top today.
What a climb from Masha.
What a performance from this incredible Russian athlete who has already come second in the speed climbing this morning.
She'll be thrilled with that for sure. There's still some 2 competitors to go yet, so it's not over yet, but certainly a convincing performance.
Sina Gertz is coming after her and Wun Chin, so we shall see. We're going to get a nice big happy smile from Maria. She looks absolutely worked.
Yeah,
there we are. Blows us a kiss.
Yeah, there's so much emotion that goes into this, so much energy, time, and effort, and so it's a lot when you come down just to take a breather and understand what just happened, what you went through. You can see all the competitors joining her there and giving her congratulations. And that's what's cool about this whole scene is that, over time, there's been a big family that's formed, and to see all the different countries come together, whether it be Russia, Korea, Switzerland, Canada, anything, everyone seems to have really sort of joined forces together, which is really special.
So we love to hear what you think. So wherever you are in the world, send us your comments. Tell us where you're from and who you're supporting. Remember to follow us on all our social channels. Subscribe to YouTube to know when our next broadcast will be, which will be next weekend at Changchun. And that promised to be another epic battle between athletes.
Crazy thing about the sport, anything can happen. We saw Alexa Dengen fall early, super unfortunate, but that's competition. Sometimes we're rock stars, sometimes we're rocks. So we'll see what Nathan pulls out here.
From France, Nathan Claire. Allez, let's see how he gets on. I mentioned earlier that he is very lucky to be here at all, because in the qualifiers he had that fall very early on in the first few moves, and was still able to recover. Oh, look at that!
Cool thing about Nathan, he's so aggressive. Just going to go for it right from the start.
That was a real flying squirrel move.
Nathan has a lot of power. You can see right here, his biceps are just flaring there. So cool.
He likes to live dangerously. The French like to live dangerously.
Yeah, they do.
I think if there were points for style, I think the Frenchies would be winning it right now, because what a stunning move from Nathan Claire. As I was saying, he's lucky to be here because he fell in the qualifiers, but because it was the qualifiers, he was able to get back up and start again. And
Nathan there using the original Petzl Nomics. You don't see those used much anymore, but he's holding true to his roots there, Petzl being from France. So one of those guys that just loves what he loves. Nathan moving really quickly here through the opening moves. He's still got a lot of time left. We've seen some climbers take a lot more time at the beginning there, but with that jump there, sort of an indication of what we're going to see coming up.
So on to number 3. Just when my heart rate was calming down, heart in the mouth again as he goes for that bit of a dino right-hand move.
Careful with the left tool there. That left tool right now actually isn't in the hold.
So
yeah, see, he adjusts his hands.
That.
Sure, why not? Forget the tool.
Forget the tool. Goes for the intellect with the right, changes hands.
He'll be the first one to use this with his hand if he goes for it. It's an awfully bold move. It's a little circle ball from Kukunogi. He's actually pinched the volume at the same time. You see he's having a bit of a hard go here with that. Really aggressive. When in doubt, put the tool in your mouth and rock climb it.
Very strong performance from the French athlete.
It's smart to rock climb it when you can, but as we've seen in past, unfortunately our good friend Petra Klinger used the same tactic and pulled off in Sau's face, so sometimes it can work for you, but sometimes it can bite you back.
Yeah, just ask Alexei Dengin.
Yep. Nathan actually reading this how it was supposed to be set, using it as an undercling as well. Very, very smart. Now he'll just stand up quite easily and reach for the hold. Unfortunately, that's what Alexei Dengin missed, and so Nathan being very smart about it.
Matches with the right. Just make sure those placements are 100% spot on. If the angle's just not right, that's it. You skate off, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Reaches over with the left onto that bit of plastic. Tool in the mouth.
Nathan with 4 minutes to go here. Lots of time. But as you can see, we've got a lot of terrain to cover yet. So 4 minutes, you know, it seems like a lot, but it might not be enough.
It goes very quickly.
Yep.
Usually in the steeply overhanging section.
Yeah. The temps are only dropping now as well. We're into the night. There's no more sun to keep you warm and cozy.
Well, there wasn't a lot of warmth coming out of the sun during the day.
No, there wasn't. But there's something about the sun that keeps you nice and cozy, though.
Yeah, if it sounds like our voices are getting a little bit funny, it is because the cold is affecting us too. We're standing outside, and it's very chilly. The cold is making itself known. But fortunately, we can warm ourselves to the heat that is emanating from the action this evening. Oh,
Nathan, oh,
no, doesn't
big
work.
upset again. Wow, again that aggressiveness. You know, maybe not the best idea. He went for it.
You know, if you live dangerously.
Yep.
You know, the message from Alexei Dengin. You know, you get away with it once, maybe you get away with it twice, but he was going for the 3rd time for a very, very bold move, and didn't work out for him then.
Yeah, we've seen that from Nathan a few times actually over many World Cups, being just a bit too aggressive and it not working out for him. So unfortunately, he came off quite early. So still He Young in first place, which is great.
But fair play to the Frenchman for just going for it. It's great. Yep. It's great to see, and certainly the route setters will be happy because, as I said, they're trying to make this one a bit of a crowd pleaser, something for the spectators, and create a route, which is such an art in itself.
Yeah, definitely. To make a route work for all people is a tough thing to do. So big hats off to the route setters. There's his team congratulating him there. It's unfortunate. You know, it's funny because I think his tool actually popped as he was reaching versus him jumping, which, you know, there's something to be said about remembering all parts of your body as you're moving forward and not forget about what's behind you. My good friend Mark Beverly taught me about that. Egress is the word we use for that.
Well, a lot of you know, rookie climbers when they begin are taught this kind of old school, you know, idea that you've got to have 3 points of contact at all times, but that kind of goes out the window at this level, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. Definitely does. Yeah, but good on for Nathan for being aggressive. The sport, you have to let it all go, and he did that, and you know, it didn't work out, but I'm sure it will in comps to come.
So this is the Swiss wonder kid, Sina Gertz, very young athlete. She's only 20 years old, and absolutely taking the European Tour by storm. She won it last year, and doing very well at the moment. So she was 25 seconds quicker than Maria Tolokanina on the semis. It'll be interesting to see whether she gets the better of her today.
Sina has really come on strong in the last few years. A super strong presence from the Swiss team here. I think there's 2 Swiss climbers, isn't there?
Yes, there's Sina, and not in the finals.
Right, correct.
But she needs to top if she's to stand any hope of beating Maria Tolokanina. So she's been climbing basically, as you know, since she could stand up. Her parents are mountain guides, lives in the mountains.
You can see as she's reaching for the hold that her axe is shaking. Those are the nerves kicking in there. But as we talked about earlier, once the athletes get going and get their rhythm,
kind of settle down.
Yeah, that shaking goes away.
And then it comes back again in the overhanging section when the lactic acid starts to build up.
Yeah. Again, Sina sporting the original Nomics there with a bit of a modification. The Petzl Nomic was a tool that was widely used for many years with all the athletes, and still probably one of the best ice tools for natural ice climbing on the market. Her footwork is really, really good here. Again, footwork is such an efficient thing, whether it be rock climbing or ice climbing or mixed climbing or comp dry tooling. Footwork is always key.
Looks like she's rocking some fancy socks there as well.
Yeah, she's got some bright colors on.
Didn't quite gets it with the second attempt. And gets clip number 6 from Sina Goetz, with still just under 5 minutes left to go. And straight into number 7.
You can see the different styles of clipping too that we see here. You know, she uses the thumb roll there, which is a lot more of a controlled clip because you can sort of run your hand down the quick draw, which enables you to get the clip faster versus the finger and the beaner.
You can really just see the concentration on her face, just trying for that hole with the right. Only gets a couple of goes at it before he needs to shake out, change positions, and try again. Nope.
She's opting for the figure 4 move here.
Just not quite getting it. Could this be our undoing?
There she goes.
She's got it. Wasted a little bit of valuable time on there. But let's see if she can recover.
Definitely one of the crux moves on the women's route there. That move of even Masha there from Russia took, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 attempts to get that. So seems to be par for the course tonight.
She makes the next clip. She's still looking strong and confident. Just getting the side pull there with the right before the route starts to get steeply overhanging into the roof section of the women's route. Matches with the right, shakes out the left. A lot of shaking out going on.
3.5 minutes for Sina here, which seems to be actually quite on par with Masha from Russia there.
So she's just got to clear this traverse and get onto that hanging bollard.
One thing the climbers have to be aware of is the Z clip, which is when you clip the rope out of sequence. It can often happen with these long hanging draws, so there's a lot going on up there when you're holding on upside down.
That can prove a disaster, as you say. You've got to clip every draw in the correct sequence. If you miss one out, you've got to clip it.
Yeah, the rules have actually changed. You're allowed to change it any way you want now. It used to be you get called off for it, but now it's a bit more forgiving.
So there's Maria Tolokanina, is currently in the icebox, looking up, shaking her head, wondering whether her position is going to be eclipsed from the young challenger that is Sina Goetz. It could be anybody's, this one. It's going to be close. Gets number 11.
Her pace is slowed down a little bit here. You can see the pump will be kicking in. You know, again, cold hands is always a big factor. Will your hands freeze out? The swinging box is not easy to deal with in these kind of conditions.
But she makes it look almost easy. It's now about getting into the right position. It's so acrobatic to watch.
Yeah.
It's just extraordinary, really.
You really have to stay composed and turn it up when you're on swingy, dangly things upside down.
It just looks like it's more gymnastics than climbing.
Yeah, definitely more like that. If she can get this next move without a lot of trouble, she may have a shot. She's got about a minute and a half left to go here. Not very far to go, but you know, when you're upside down like this, it can be quite taxing.
Well, she knows the clock is ticking. She can't afford to hang around for too long here and get herself caught up. Oh no, she's got into a spiral there and got her leg all twisted up. It's not. That's a night. That must be a disaster.
Yeah, she seems to be a bit hog-tied here.
She's got her foot caught. She's got to free the right foot. She's freed that. Can she recover?
She has to use the momentum of the box. The momentum actually worked against her there, causing her to miss that hold. But that time waste really cost her.
Well, this is almost exactly what happened. Something very similar happened to Nikolai Kuzovlev yesterday. He got all caught up, and it cost him the finals. First time we haven't seen Nikolai in a finals for a very, very long time.
Yeah, there's a big shift as we saw with the Russian missing the finals. You see Sina wasted about a minute trying to navigate that, which really cost her a lot of time.
This may cost her dearly. Maria Tolokanina may be secretly quite pleased about the difficulties that Sina Gertz is facing right now. Does make her position a little bit more secure.
I'm sure Marion from France is actually wondering what's going to happen here as well, because if this she's off.
It's over for Sina. So her energy just ran out up there. You saw when she reached over with that very, very wide wingspan of her arms at full stretch, she just had nothing left in the tank. She paused for a moment as if to say, can I go on?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that now guarantees Marion Thomas from France a medal, at least a third, and then Maria Tolokonina at least a medal in first or second, which is awesome. That's really great. Sina, I'm sure would have let to go further. That swinging box up there, you have to navigate it properly, and as we saw, she wasted about a minute trying to get through it, and unfortunately that...
Very unlucky, just got into a spin and got all caught up, and her tool is left behind, so there'll be a bit of a delay as the man with the stick comes along and fishes for it.
Yeah, Mr. Nathan Kutcher will be soon peering over the edge of the top of the structure there with his stick.
So this is the point at which she was at full stretch and just wasn't able to pull it off.
Yeah, her hands were finished. Her hands just gave up, which is cool. She fought right to the end. Oftentimes you'll see these climbers climb to their absolute limit, and when their hands just let go like that, you know that they were 100% finished.
You know, and there must be nothing you can do at that point. When you're done, you're done.
No, yeah, that's just it. You can fight as long as you want, but when they let go, that's the end.
So congratulated there by Marion Thomas. Swapping notes on the challenges and difficulties of the route, but Sina's looking happy. She's got a smile and she's got an incredible future ahead of her. But it's over to the men. For the next French athlete, first time we've seen the two brothers in a final. Luna is the younger of the brothers and the better climber, which Tristan is the first to acknowledge. Luna is more the bigger talent, although they're both very, very talented climbers indeed.
Luna definitely is certainly the more dynamic of the two, but they both have similar styles as they train together all the time. They rock climb together. Like you mentioned before, they're inseparable. Their relationship is great. It's infectious amongst the climbers, and it's always great to hang out with them.
He's a very fast climber as well, so we can expect him to move through these opening moves very, very quickly.
Yeah, most certainly. Again, using the anchor tools from Krukunogi, a common tool we're seeing now on the circuit.
Talk us through the fruit boots that these guys wear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really light boot, very specific to comp style mixed climbing. You know, there's brands out there like Scarpa and Asolo that are very common. Very lightweight carbon footprint. You know,
they're almost as light as rock shoes, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's the idea behind them, is they're like a rock shoe.
Just with the 1 point on the front. Unlike the speed climbing where you've got 2 crampon points, just the one for for lead. Very sharp. How long do you spend sharpening your crampon points?
mean, I've cut my fingers on how sharp my my crampon points are. Wickedly sharp.
It's quite an art form, isn't it?
It is. Every athlete has their way of sharpening their tools and their crampons to the very perfectious way.
So Luna has moved his way effortlessly up. If you're just tuning in, this is where the first bit of excitement comes. Let's see whether he will go for the dyno like his brother. He's just got to make that move over to the right.
He opted to go for a wide foot, but now he's just going to be aggressive and jump for it.
Yeah, he was pretty happy with that. You could tell that he had it secure.
Yep.
And then he just reached over. It wasn't quite a pure dyno, was it?
Yeah, no. I mean, he was going to go for it at first, that wide foot, but then he realized that it wasn't quite as necessary as he thought.
Are we seeing a little bit of wisdom come into these young French climbers?
Certainly, they've certainly picked up the sport fast.
Lots of shouts from below. Allez, allez, allez. Very big reach up there with the left.
Luna wasting no time at all.
Gets clip number 5 into a high 4.
He still has 5 minutes left. At this point, I think he has the fastest pace we've seen tonight. But can he sustain it? It seems as though when the athletes get towards the roof there, that the energy depletes a little bit, and with those big moves, those big iron cross moves, it's really hard to sustain.
Just moving very, very quickly.
The French team watching on with excitement and angst.
Are they going to be standing on the male and female podiums? That is what they'll be wondering. As well as all the fans watching back home, they will have woken up now in Europe.
Yeah, we've really seen the online presence grow. It's really fun to have the support of people around the world watching us climb.
Can the French challenge the dominance of the Russians in this sport? And looking at Luna Ladova in action, the answer seems to be yes.
He's at 4 minutes and showing no sign of fatigue whatsoever. Oh, can he hold that? He's still going. You know what? This is his jam right here. Luna loves the DTS style of dry tooling, so for him to cut feet like that, no big deal whatsoever.
It nearly went horribly wrong for the French climber. Living dangerously, but he was able to recover.
My shoulders were hurting just watching that.
How expensive would that have been in the energy tank? He probably lost a lot of power there now.
Yeah, I mean, he probably expended a little bit there, but I mean, it looks like he hasn't been phased whatsoever. You know, often that can cause some shoulder issues, but he's really strong in the shoulders, so to compose himself and bring himself back with that, again, I don't think it phased him too much. He's still moving really, really well with just over 3 minutes to go. He's definitely ahead of the pace from everybody else thus far.
Everything's still to play for Luna Ladova.
Yeah, as we know and as we've seen, you know, a lot's gone down so far, people falling off early and the unexpected, so it ain't over till it's over.
Could a top still be possible?
I think so. He's got 2 minutes and 45 seconds. That's a lot of time left, but he's got a big, long traverse to go through yet, so we'll see how he makes out going through this big iron cross here.
He can't afford to make any mistakes.
This is a really, really big move, but again, the style is up his alley, so can he sustain the hit? Yeah, no problem whatsoever.
Releases the left with ease, gets into the swing, secures his position.
I don't see him shaking his axes right now, so surely he's breathing just fine.
Gets that right leg into a nice high position so that he can reach up and get that next hold. He's got it, very firm kicks with the leg. And he's moving very, very swiftly. If I were Hyung Park, I'd be getting a little bit nervous now.
Yeah, most certainly. With a minute 50 to go, he's cruising.
He's going for it. He really is going for it. He's got to get that clip number 13.
He certainly isn't slowing down yet.
Into the intellect. Just got to make sure there are no mistakes. Got his right hand a little bit stuck there, the right pick in the plastic. We were talking about that earlier. You wouldn't have that problem with a Kruganogi.
At this rate, I think we're going to see a new leader. He's got a minute and 25 to go. That's a lot of time enough time for the top if he keeps moving. He's showing a bit of fatigue now, being upside down for so long.
The French fans will be going crazy.
His fingers are probably frozen by this point.
Doesn't seem to have affected him clipping that.
I think this is going to be him going for first place in a minute.
He's got it. He's got that hold. Are we going to see the first top?
1 minute left. 1 minute. He's got to get moving. He's taking a couple seconds to rest here.
Just shaking out his arms. It almost looked like he was willing the crowd to cheer him on, but he was just shaking out his arm.
I think Young got this next hold here. This is the high point right here.
The intellect. Moves over with his feet, traverses, matches with the right.
MININA now has first place. What an incredible performance. He's got 35 seconds to go. It could be enough. He has to move. Trying to get the figure four to get in the high point here of his body position.
Can he get the clip? Is he high enough to get the clip?
I think he has to commit to the next move for the clip. Maybe not.
The clock is ticking. Can he get the clip?
He's got 15 seconds. He's got it.
He's got the clip. That will secure his position.
The crowd's certainly cheering him on. It's guaranteed him at least second place. Unbelievable performance right now by Luna. He's got 0 time now. He's out of time now, but he's so close to the top.
Incredible performance from the French athlete. Massive cheers from Team France. That should be enough to secure him into first place. We shall have to check the results.
An absolute incredible climb. You can see how happy he is. He's definitely happy about that. I'm not sure if he realizes he's in first place at the moment. Just fatigue, like absolute exhaustion at this point.
Look at his face.
Probably frozen top to bottom.
He did so well to recover from that. From that earlier fall. He was hanging on by one arm and managed to just recover. It would be interesting to get his take on exactly what happened there.
Yeah, probably just the early jitters, I would think. You know, your body is just racing with adrenaline when you start. So, like we've talked about from the beginning, you know, just composing yourself and regrouping and continuing on. There's a huge hug from his brother Tristan. They're both such supporters of each other. Always great to see.
It's fantastic to see that fraternal love. There's no sibling rivalry at all between these two. There's a handshake from Hyung Park. Big smiles, congratulating each other.
It's been quite a weekend here. A lot of shift and performances. Zero consistency with who's been on top and who has done well and what have you. But now we've seen great performances with all the men's and women's final. Still not over yet. We still have 2 climbers to go yet. So again, that first place still hasn't been secured yet 100%.
So he gets that intellect. He secured the 15th clip. He is in a lead position, but still no one has topped yet.
2 moves from the top, so close. Will we see a top tonight?
Wen Chunxin, meanwhile, has started already. Very, very experienced athlete.
Yeah, she has certainly gained a lot of respect amongst the climbers over the years with her ability to basically win. She moves so elegantly with her aggressive, sort of composed nature. Her personality is always so calm and chill, but inside, she must just be, you know, going like crazy.
She was over a minute quicker than both Sina and Maria to top in the semis. Very fast climber indeed. So like Maria, she's been around for a very long time, almost 20 years. She won her first UIAA championship way back in 2007.
Wow, that's some dedication. I think I started in 2009 or 10. Long time.
So 2007, I think the youngest athlete here, the French girl, Annabelle Bouchardon, would only have been a few years old then.
Yeah.
Which kind of puts things into perspective.
Just a wee baby.
So she hooks that quite nicely.
Shin using a modified petzonomic tool. Hyung Park came up with this idea that a lot of the Koreans have adopted. Shin has kept it very consistent with this tool for at least the last maybe 5 or 6 years. This is the crux move here that she seemed to navigate perfectly. She's probably the first person to hit it second go without much struggle at all.
You can see the route has been taken quite a battering as well.
Yeah.
From all the marks.
I don't think it matters what holds she's on. She's so confident that she just keeps moving without any struggle. Right now in a a short grip position on the Kukunogi hold. Navigating the next Kukunogi hold. Total confidence. Shin navigating the traverse now, currently on the Ice King Hyung Park hold. She trains on those all the time, so no hesitation whatsoever there. Making clip 10.
Looking very confident as she reaches high left.
She's just cruising along right now.
Still plenty of time left on the clock.
Shin getting into the roof here. This is where a lot of people struggle in this swinging volume. We'll see how she navigates it. Very composed so far. Figure 4, figure 9. She'll go into the figure 4 again here. Going towards clip 12. The apple hold.
She is looking so proficient.
First try. Wow, unbelievable.
Amazing for, especially for, she's not the youngest athlete on the blocks at the moment. Just goes to show you can still climb to an extremely high standard, even as they're all getting older.
Her pace is just crushing it right now. It hasn't let up once since the beginning.
Pulls through, and she's already on clip number 13. It's looking like that top spot in the rankings is beckoning for Wunchun Shin from Korea onto this hanging bollard now.
She doesn't look phased whatsoever at this point. Navigating all the swinging volumes with such composure. The top being right behind her here. Quite a bit of time left. We'll have to see what it compares to with Masha's time. 2 holds to go. This is a pretty big move to come out of. But Shin should be just fine. Yeah, no problem whatsoever.
She did it.
Going into the figure 9, she'll match tools, high grip. Figure 4, yeah, no problem whatsoever. She knows exactly what she's doing.
Such confidence to behold.
Final hold. All she has to do now is clip and match. Absolutely amazing from Shin here.
Reaches with the rope.
Quick shake. Pretty pumped, I would imagine.
She can't afford to make any mistakes here. She's got to get it 100% right. Look at that. She's got the clip.
And there's
matches.
The match.
She's done it.
It'll come down to time here. She had a minute and 12 left, which I think was quite a bit more than Masha.
That almost certainly will be faster than Maria Tolokanina, but we shall await the official confirmation from the judges.
So we know on the women's side that we'll have Wunchun Shin, Maria Tolokanina, and Marion Thomas from France on the podium. Will determine which position they all fall in.
What a result. Marion Thomas will be so happy to have got onto the podium.
Yeah, I think she's guaranteed the 3rd place.
Looks like it. She will be extremely happy with that. And good to see such 2 familiar names now on the podium as well. Wunchun Shin and Maria Tolokanina, who over the years have battled it out numerous times.
Ladies and gentlemen,
At no point during her climb did she ever look in danger. Extraordinary to watch. Such a confident athlete. Just getting a little, she doesn't even look out of breath. We've seen some of the guys and the girls coming off the routes just looking so worked, pouring with sweat, completely panting out of breath. She could probably do it again.
Just saying the same thing. She could probably tie in, hop on the men's route, and top it out as well. I think she's probably the most composed climber on the tour, always has been. She's been so consistent alongside with Masha there that you never know which one's going to take it.
So for the men, we are looking at the start of Mohammad Reza Safdarian from Iran. He's a firefighter from the desert city of Esfahan. Let's see what happens when fire meets ice.
He's definitely, I think, the fastest climber. He is just motoring right now. Hopefully, with being this aggressive, it doesn't bite him like we've seen with Alexa Dengen and Nathan from France. But if we recall his performance semifinals, it was just as aggressive, and he did really well.
He's an incredible athlete. Got a gold, first time for an Iranian in Ravenstein a few years ago. And he's one of the shorter athletes out there, so proving that not being the tallest is no barrier, just got a very big reach there earlier on. Although I did speak to the route setters a couple of days ago, and they do set the route in such a way that it's not down to just who has got the longest reach.
Yeah, you know what, years ago it used to be about that, but now they've gone more the technical route, which means anybody's game.
Let's see what happens here. Oh,
no problem.
No problem for Reza.
We've learned that with those dynamic moves, you have to see it, commit to it, and go for it without hesitation, and that's exactly what he just did there.
Stein with the right, just checks that is super bomber before he inches across.
Absolutely amazing for our sport here. 9 years ago, when the Iranians first came onto the scene, it was very new to them, and now we're seeing them on the podium. Oh, it's so great.
And for the first time, the UIAA is hosting the Asia Cup in Tehran next month. That could be super cool to follow.
Yeah, really awesome.
Make sure you check out our social feeds for all the updates about that at UIAA Mountains. So he's got to really go for it on this one. Just moved out of the Fig 4 position there. He's going for a different way to try.
Yeah, definitely how it was set, actually. This is I can see how the route setters did this.
Really got to go high because he just doesn't have the reach.
Taking it as an undercling gives you that ability to stand up, and with his power, he's able to do just that perfectly. Well executed.
It's the accuracy, isn't it, that's just so extraordinary. He's able to just get the pick in exactly the right spot of that hold. Ooh, dangerous.
Yeah, those panels, they'll bite back. You have to be very careful with them. But his movement here is really, really fast. He's got 4.5 minutes to go still, and he's just cruising up this first section. We'll see how he fares in the roof, but if it's any indication of how he's climbed this weekend, I can't see him slowing down anytime soon.
Big reach up with the left. He's moving so effortlessly up here. Fantastically strong performance from the Iranian. Got that very solid Stein.
First big move here.
Into the Kruganogi. Has he got it?
Yeah,
he's got it.
perfectly.
And then it's absolutely bomber that hold, isn't it? You just get the pick through it, and you can just...
You'll see by how he swings so aggressively that his confidence that he's not coming off is just there. Quick shake to beat the cold. Still moving really aggressively into the sort of technical section of the roof here. Making clip 10 with no problem whatsoever. He'll grab the second intellect hold here, navigate his body through the volumes. A lot of volumes in these comps here. It creates a little bit of like three-dimensional climbing for the climbers. It doesn't necessarily make it easier, it just makes it a little bit more appealing. It provides options as far as the moves go, as we can see here.
We are being treated to a virtuoso performance.
He's got 3 minutes left, holy moly. He's just cruising.
If you only tuned in, if you're only watching this is something to see. An incredible performance using all the skills of rock climbing, bouldering, ice climbing, dry tooling, mixed climbing, gymnastics, acrobatics.
Having a quick shake here before the sort of the crux move of the roof here. It's a really, really big move. You want to make sure you're fresh for it. We'll see what happens when he comes out of it. Hopefully it's all good. Going into figure 9, no big deal whatsoever. It's a really, really big hit, but if you train your fingers correctly, it shouldn't be a problem.
Just steadies himself with the hand there, slow down. Slow down the swing. Fig 9 on the right.
A lot of core tension slowing down the swing and those volumes that swing around.
Switches legs. Doesn't quite land that right. Second attempt. Gets it with the third, and it looks pretty good.
2 minutes and 5 seconds to go yet.
Got to make the clip.
A lot of time, but as we've seen here, time can go quickly under the big roofs like this.
Anything can go wrong. We saw it with Nathan Clare. We saw it with Alexei Dengin.
2 minute mark here. He's got to move. He's got lots of time to top out, but at this point, just
dangerous! Very dangerous.
Good recovery. Good recovery.
Did very well there. It's a mark of the experience of these guys, that anyone else straight off, the fact that he can recover, get themselves back on the route. And sometimes it's not always obvious just how overhanging this is. This is fully upside down.
Yeah, he's been really aggressive now. That could just be the point where he's saying, forget it, I'm going for it. Or maybe he just knows he's running out of time, but he's got to get moving here if he's going to top out.
He wants to win. He wants to win. He wants the gold. He's hungry.
Quick shakeout before the final moves.
Got it with the right.
He's going for it now. This is incredible, folks. He's got a minute to go. He has the chance to take first place here, but he's got to keep moving. Can he hold on? He's having a shakeout. He's feeling the pump.
Looks across as if to see the clock.
This is a tough move here, undercling intellect after you're absolutely exhausted. And he's off!
He's off!
And Luna has
all
taken
over.
gold. What an impressive day for the French team.
All over for Reza Mohamed Safdarian.
I can see the French team from here going absolutely crazy over there in the hot seat. What a day. What a day for the French team.
Luna Ladevant will take the gold. Hyung Park second. Will that be enough to get onto the podium for Mohamed Reza? It does. So Luna Ladevant, the results have just been updated, will go into first place. Mohamed Reza Safdarian second. Hyung Park third. Tristan Ladevant fourth. And Younghye Kwon will go into fifth place for that. What an extraordinary masterclass from the Iranian athlete, but just wasn't able to hang on until the end.
Unbelievable day. It's always amazing watching these athletes perform at this level. Luna, I can't even imagine the emotion right now. Gold medal. Unbelievable for France. They've come onto the scene in the last few years, and to see them grow in such strength and numbers, and now a gold medal. Absolutely stunning.
So over...
So great. What a weekend here in China. It's been cold, but it's been such a great venue, such a great event. All the athletes had a great time.
Fantastic performance from the all the athletes here today.
We'll wait for the official results, but it sounds like we've got them pretty confirmed.
So we're just going to go for the results now, the official results as they revealed in the men's. So in fifth place was Younghye Kwon, and then it's the French athlete Tristan Ladevant in fourth. But for the podium, third goes to Hyung Park, and Mohamed Reza Safdarian will take the second, but gold is Luna Ladevant. And over in the women's side, in fifth place was Ekaterina Vlasova. Sina Gertz will go into fourth place, which means Marion Thomas takes the third. Maria Tolokanina second place, and in first in a time of 5:14, almost a minute faster than Maria Tolokanina, was Wenshun Shin. So what a fantastic performance from all the athletes today. Remember, you can get all the updates and behind the scenes info and more content on our social channels at UIAA Mountains. And don't forget, we're back on again in a week in Changchun in South Korea, Changchun, excuse me. And for the finals, for the more action. So until then, thank you from all the team here in Changchun, and we'll see you again in a week. And a special thanks also to my co-commentator, Gordon MacArthur. Thank you very much. We'll see you in a week.
See you all soon.